It began with a ringing phone, a sound so ordinary, so benign, it never warned of the storm it carried. Debbie Slater answered, expecting a casual check-in or a cheeky, "Hey, Mom," from her son, Jay. But instead, the silence on the other end stretched far too long. That silence, hollow and cold, would become a shadow over her life. Jay Slater, her 19-year-old boy with the wild curls and ever-present grin, had vanished. He'd flown to Tenerife with friends, his first real taste of freedom beyond their sleepy Lancashire town. A music festival, sun, sea, laughter. It was supposed to be a break from the ordinary, a memory-making trip before life took its adult shape. But memory turned to mystery, and mystery to madness. The last message had come in early that morning, a crackling voice note, garbled by bad reception and laced with unease. Jay was lost, somewhere in the remote hills outside the main city. His phone battery was dying. He sounded confused, a little scared. And then nothing. Within hours, Debbie was on a plane. No suitcase, no plan, just raw, unfiltered mother's instinct pulling her across the sky toward the place where her son's voice had last existed. Tenerife welcomed her with heat and hostility. The hills loomed like ancient guardians, indifferent to her grief. Authorities launched a search, drones, dogs, helicopters. Locals whispered, tourists stared. And in every face, Debbie searched for her boy. Days bled into one another. The scent of jasmine and ocean salt began to mingle with fear. There were no signs. No footprints, no clothing, no phone signal. It was like he'd been swallowed whole by the island. But the worst of it wasn't the waiting. It was the cruelty. As the story made headlines, trolls crawled out of the digital dark. First, it was comments on news articles, accusations, conspiracy theories, people playing detective from behind screens. Then it was direct messages, twisted jokes, fake sightings. And then the phone calls began. They called pretending to be the kidnappers, mocking, laughing, telling her he was never coming home. One voice had a thick accent, saying he was holding Jay in a cave. Another whispered only the boy's name, over and over again, before hanging up. Debbie held the phone to her ear as if trying to draw Jay's heartbeat through the static. Her hands trembled, not from fear, but rage. The inhumanity of it cracked something inside her. How could anyone treat another person's pain like a punchline? But still, she stayed. She didn't return home, though people told her she should rest. She didn't stop. Every morning, she tied her hair back, laced her walking shoes, and went into the hills. Guides offered to help. Locals with weathered skin and kind eyes walked beside her. They didn't speak much English, but their presence was a balm. She'd wander through ravines, calling his name into the wind. Jay. The echo mocked her, always bringing her own voice back but never his. Once she found a sock, black, torn at the toe. Her heart leapt. It was almost laughable how much hope could live in something so small. But it wasn't his. False hope became a new kind of torture. And yet she endured. Because what else does a mother do? She remembered how he used to be afraid of the dark. As a child, he'd insist the closet door be shut tight. She'd leave the hallway light on, just a sliver, so he wouldn't feel alone. Now, she imagined him somewhere cold, confused, maybe waiting for her. "I'm coming, baby," she whispered to the stars at night. "Just hold on." Journalists surrounded the hotels. Cameras clicked like insects. Some were kind, others not so much. One tabloid printed a piece about how she looked disheveled during a press appearance, as if grief had a dress code. But Debbie didn't care. Vanity had no place here. Only determination. At one point, a psychic from England contacted her, claiming to see Jay's location in a vision. She almost didn't listen. But then again, when logic fails, sometimes all you have left is belief. She went where the psychic described, a rocky outcrop near a cave. The sun blazed down. Her lips cracked. Her legs ached. No Jay. But she screamed into that cave anyway. "Your mum's here." The hills said nothing back. And still, the phone calls kept coming, each one stealing a little more of her soul. But with every cruel word, her resolve hardened. She spoke to Jay in her mind constantly. Don't give up, kid. You're stubborn, like your mom. If anyone can survive this, it's you. Back home, vigils were held. Candles lit in shop windows. His old school put up a missing poster with his smiling face. Her friends texted daily, some offering prayers, others just silence, the kind of silence that says, I'm here, I just don't know what to say. Debbie sometimes wondered if she was losing her mind. Time was melting. She'd look at a rock and swear it had moved since yesterday. Bird's song made her jump. Once, she thought she heard her son's laugh, only to find a tourist's ringtone mimicking the sound. But she pressed on, because in her chest beat the same rhythm that had comforted him in the womb. The same love that had bandaged his scraped knees and taught him to ride a bike. That kind of love does not surrender. Not ever. They said the odds weren't good. That so much time had passed. That even hope had a shelf life. But Debbie refused to listen. Because hope, to her, wasn't abstract. It was flesh and blood. It had a name. Jay Slater. And until the day she held him again, or until the hills themselves told her otherwise, she would keep walking. Not just for answers, but for love. Let me know if you want this rewritten as a news article, a dramatic monologue, or something more poetic or raw.